You guys feel that?
Oh, is it? I feel a pull.
Energy.
I feel like shitting facing north. What is going on?
Do you guys like tend to know your cardinal directions wherever you are?
No.
Absolutely not. I never know.
No idea. And this whole like, where's the sun in the sky thing? Like, no, not conscious of it. And even if I just stood there and tried to work it out, couldn't make any progress.
You couldn't make out where the sun is in the sky?
No, I mean, I know it's up there, usually.
What if it's cloudy?
Yeah, sometimes it's not there.
It is always there. Well, except at night.
No, not always.
In the day.
Not if it's cloudy.
It's still there. Do you guys have object permanence?
You can't see it.
That's true. You can't see it. I know my cardinal directions when I'm in Bloomington. I would not say I know my cardinal directions.
Well, I'm familiar with the street grid, but I can't get turned around.
Yeah, you get all.
I'll get lost in
loosey-toosey.
Bloomington.
I don't know where I am here because I'm not from here.
Yeah. Well, if you're not from there, there's actually no way of knowing.
I'm not familiar with it. God.
So are you saying that it's innate? It's like when you're born somewhere, you know that direction only.
Much like a dog shitting on a magnetic field. Wherever you're born, you can orient yourself to the cardinal directions there.
And who are you?
I'm Sarah.
Hey, I'm Izzy at Thin Izzy on Twitter.
Oh shit.
What's up? I'm Dylan. I'm Dylan the dog man Watkins. Everybody hates me and that makes sense. I live in Kentucky. I love watching poker. That's my thing. Don't really know the rules, all of them, but I know enough to enjoy the broadcast. I think that hosts have a lot of talent.
Wait, are there hosts?
Yeah, there's hosts. There's definitely hosts. Sometimes there's celebrity hosts, you know.
Do you think you would do well hosting a poker show?
Yeah, I could be the color commentator, you know.
Dylan, I also think you would be really good at playing poker because playing poker is mostly about lying.
Isn't it just numbers though?
It's lying. It's lying.
Like counting. It's like counting with instead of like the number 11, there's a K or whatever. I don't get it.
That's blackjack. Blackjack is counting.
Oh, I love blackjack.
Well, if you love blackjack, let me tell you a little something about a game called poker. It's like blackjack with fewer numbers and more lying.
Ooh, now that's now that I might like.
Poker's just about like patterns.
Yeah.
Like get all the hearts together, get all the numbers in a row.
Yeah. I mean, you have to know like what a flush is, but it's also pretty intuitive if you have like cards that are in, a sequence that probably means something good.
If you can count, I bet you could play poker.
I can't count, and even I can play poker.
I can count to like, yeah, I can count. Like past 20, it gets hard. I'm not gonna lie.
You don't have to go past 20.
Well, because like
no,
it's like
you don't have to go past 10.
I can count in my head for a while, but if I like count out loud past 20, I start like fucking up the words, and like it gets harder to breathe.
There might be something else going on. Are you in an unventilated basement?
Yeah, often. Not today, but often, yeah.
When you take breaths, Dylan, you can count. When you count, you can take breaths in between.
I take really shallow breaths.
He passes
like
out.
You have to do it all in one.
Counting.
Sorry, I gotta take my sweater off.
I'm always taking tiny little breaths with my mouth open, but I never take one big breath. I'm like a
dog.
Yeah,
panting.
I'm like a chihuahua in the sun. What's today's topic? Podcasters?
Well, we don't know how to pronounce it.
Lellens.
Lellens.
McClellans.
McClellan.
McClellans?
All right, you have your Lellens.
Today we're talking about ley lines, which I didn't realize was such like a British subject.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
We have accidentally...
I thought it was more like American.
No, we have dipped our toe back into England with their jammy Dodgers and their
figgy pudding.
Their figgy pudding and their squirty creams.
I tried to find ley lines in the Midwest in the United States where we are, where Sarah and I are. The only thing I could find was a Reddit post of somebody being like, does anyone know if there's ley lines in the Midwestern United States? And other people being like, I'm sure there are. Is there a map somewhere? Someone send me the map. But that tells me that there aren't.
Yeah, there's wagon trails. There's a lot of old like wagon furrows. Like the road going down to my dad's house. There's like a parallel furrow next to the road where, you know, or two furrows from wagon wheels. That's kind of like ley lines, right? That ends.
Yeah, that is, right? Aren't they like ley lines are like where everybody travels to?
Well, maybe we should talk about it.
Yeah. God damn, we're good at this.
We did all read about it, right?
Yeah.
Sir, is it pronounced Leland?
Leland.
Why are you pronouncing it?
No, I think it's just ley lines. Because, you know, in England, when you look at the name of a town and it looks like it should be like Cotter Swallenham, and then it's like Coxswain, you know?
Coxswain. Coxon? What is it? Coxon?
My favorite British town. You know, have you ever played the game where
you're British?
Yeah, because you're British. Where you go on Google Maps and you just like zoom into any area and you just like see some town names and you're guaranteed to find like 5 to 6 extremely funny ones.
Yeah, that's true. It's true in the US sometimes too, but
I mean sometimes, but not like with them. I mean, like let's do it right now. I'm going to Google Maps. I'm going to England. Just typing it in. Of course, my favorite is Chorlton cum Hardy. That's outside of Manchester. Nothing gonna
come Hardy.
Nothing's
I'm Googling
gonna top
England.
Chorlton cum Hardy.
Come Hardy.
No, I should
zoom in anywhere.
I should know how to pronounce Coxswain because I went to not one but 2 orientation meetings for a high school rowing team in high school.
Did you ever row?
No, it's one of my biggest regrets. Yeah.
Is that you didn't join the row team?
Yeah. I was recruited for my height.
They tried to get you.
Yeah. They said I'd be good at rowing, which is not really a compliment. It's like, oh yeah, you look like an ox or what, you know, you could push a lot of this water. But then, yeah, I went to like 2 meetings and I was like, you know what? This might be fun. Actually, I like boats. I go fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, here's the materials cost for being on this rowing team for the semester. And it was like $2,300 and something dollars. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm out. Goodbye.
You guys, I zoomed into a random part of England and I immediately found a place called Barton in the Beans.
That's pretty good. I zoomed into a random tiny town called Garvestone, which I think is funny because it's gravestone, but they switched the A and the R. It's
They
Garv.
do not know how to spell it.
It's Garvestone.
I've got Snibston. I've got Hugglescote.
No, you don't. You don't have Hugglescote.
I've got Hugglescote.
You shut
I've
the
got
front
Barton
door.
in the Beans. I've got Hugglescote. I've got Ashby de la Zouch.
No, you don't have that.
Yes, I do have Ashby de la Zouch.
I have Tilbury Juxtaclare.
See?
You leave her alone.
Yeah, I'm outside
Ooh.
of Leicester right now.
I'm actually at Maggot's End.
See?
Whoa.
I fucking told you.
There's a Carmichael's.
I'm here at Frisbee on the Reek.
I'm here at Pipewell.
Pipewell. It's important.
Okay, so back to the topic. A ley line is an ancient pathway with magnetic and spiritual properties that connect ancient structures to one another.
Yes.
As so believe the Earth Mysteries community, who are in a lifelong battle with all archaeologists.
So
Choose
this
a
thing
side.
was- I'm not going to say it was invented, but certainly it was popularized and named by an antiquarian, whatever that is, named Alfred Watkins. In the 1920s, he wrote a book called The Old Straight Track, because one day he was up on a hill in Herefordshire and he looked down and he was like, oh my God, there are lines everywhere. And people were like, where? And he was like, no, you don't get it. But Alfred Watkins was not like a spiritualist guy. He was like, these were trade routes. And
Oh.
like these were just paths. They go in straight lines. It was like how people got from point A to point B, and like the villages are in between them. And that's why there are all these monuments that follow the course of the ley lines. He thought, he just had kind of like a boring guy explanation for it.
Boring.
Yeah.
But then comes editor Paul Demereau from Ley Hunter magazine.
Demereau. And what did he think?
He thought that unusual forms of energy could be measured at prehistoric structures.
Using what? A dowsing rod?
Not that they would do that. They love dowsing. I love how much these people love dowsing.
These people love to
What's
douse.
dowsing? What is that?
You ever seen like a stick that's shaped like a what's that thing called?
Like an
slingshot? No, like a Y.
Oh, okay.
You take that and you hold it by the stick part, the handle parts of the Y, and then there's like a long part that sticks out, and then it tells you where water is.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that real?
No, it's not real. And what is funny is I saw some people talking online where it's like somebody posted on Twitter, and I saw it was like, it's shocking how many people in the year 2023 think that dowsing is real. And then like all the comments are like people who seem otherwise normal just being like, it is real though. My grandfather found water at the farm. It is real though. It's true. Like, and I was like, damn, you're like,
there's no other way to find water.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea was like if you needed to dig a well, if you had like bought property and you were trying to homestead it or something, and you needed to find out where the water was closest to the surface, you would bring in a dowser who was like, I see this as like a very Appalachian thing, but I think it is actually like English first.
Yeah.
And he'd go around with that stick, and the stick would like pull him in different directions, like a Ouija board planchette, until he was like, dig here. And, maybe sometimes there was water, but probably also most times there wasn't.
I mean, there's probably water a lot of places, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of groundwater.
Yeah, you could probably dig wherever.
The nature of the water table is that there is water if you dig.
My like great grandfather heard that, and it's just like my farmer ancestors heard that or whatever, and we're just like, that's such a horrible, like, what I mean? I guess what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, you could find water anywhere, and it's like, I'm sure they're like, no, it's really fucking hard, right? Like to dig a well, it's probably hard. Is that hard?
It's definitely hard. I mean, it's hard, and there are places where you would expend a lot more effort. Like, you would not realistically be able to dig down deep enough.
Right. So you would need to douse first.
Yes, this is why you douse.
But probably sometimes you just douse and then it works out. But it would have worked out, other places too. I think
experienced dowsers also understand, like, probably the place where the land dips is the best place to find water. Like, they were probably using some degree of experience.
Yeah.
And there is skill involved. It's just that the stick is not doing it.
It's like when psychics, like TV psychics, are like, I'm hearing a bee, brother,
yeah.
Father, man, boyfriend. Father. Oh, boyfriend. Yeah, it's like that, but with water and sticks.
Or like cold reading or whatever. Like,
yeah,
people who do those things have a kind of skill. It's just like sleight of hand. Like what they're skilled at is not the thing that they are purporting to be. It's not the mechanism that they're purporting to use.
It seems like the Earth Mysteries community and the ley hunters have like a huge hard-on for the Neolithic period.
Yeah, they're very horny for those rocks.
Druids.
That's when everything was, there was harmony and everything was good, and they basically like hate all technology.
Yeah.
Like they think that the invention of metal is like the downfall of civilization.
It's funny to think about being trad, but for the Neolithic period.
That's what this is. And
yes.
And I gotta say, I spent some time on the UK network of Ley Hunters website, which is sweet and kind of sad. And it looks like a really lovely social club of people in their 60s and 70s and like two people in their 30s for some reason.
That's us.
Yeah, right.
Totally.
Like exploring like different, honestly, like I was like, I want to join. Because it's just like endless photos of this group of like adorable people like just hanging out at cool ancient
And they
rocks.
probably have some really weird ideas all over the political spectrum.
Oh,
fully.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't talk
Be
about
very
Brexit.
entertaining.
You don't talk about Brexit at the UK Hunter, the network of lay hunters.
No. Well, I read that like the Alfred Watkins, the book, The Old Straight Track, that came out in the 1920s, happened during a period of like renewed interest in like country walking and sightseeing. So I think like a lot of the initial attraction was like if you followed his map of ley lines, it was just like you could take a really nice walk in England from like one ancient stone barrow to another or whatever, like
Right.
People just wanted to be outdoors walking around looking at the beautiful English countryside. And who doesn't want to do that? Like, I've done that shit before. You get to, in England, there's a very cool thing where you can just like walk through people's farms. Like, a lot of these paths are ancient and they're like marked on maps and stuff. And, you'll just be going down a path and suddenly you're like at somebody's field that clearly is like an active field with sheep grazing in it. But there's like a
Can
little.
you pet the sheep?
Yeah, you can pet the sheep.
But don't.
Oh, I want to go.
Do they chase you if you steal their cabbages?
Probably
The sheep?
like Old Man McGregor and someone like that might chase you.
Farmer Maggot,
Yeah,
He might give
Yeah.
chase.
he might give chase.
Have to take the cabbage.
No, it's so funny because like to me, the idea of walking into somebody else's like farm paddock, I'd be like, am I gonna get shot? But in England, I think
I know.
there were times on that when I was like doing that where I thought like, oh, this is fully somebody's property. But then I would see like other people walking, be like, okay, well, I guess this is just like how they do it here.
You're like, what are you going to do in England? Like stab you?
Maybe with like a
'Cause-
tiny knife, I'd be fine. I'm American.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Get a fireplace poker?
Yeah, try to chase me into like a old stone trough or something.
Yeah. They'll say, get down in that old stone
And
trough.
guess what? You'd love it.
And I would love
You think
it.
this lady wouldn't love being in an old stone?
Oh,
moss
she'd
on the
climb
walls.
in there.
Oh, sounds
You-
great. A bad
You wouldn't have to tell her
nearby.
twice.
No, I'm all over it.
It said that ley lines were placed between 5000 BCE and 2600 BCE.
Now,
That means
placed.
nothing to me.
That means nothing. Yeah, it means nothing to me either, Dylan.
One thing I was unclear about this whole time is like, are the cool spiritual ruin places on the ley line? Because that's how we know that the ley lines
Yes.
are there, right? It's like there's these
Yeah.
like ruins, there's like holy sites and old religions and stuff. How, and that's how we know that that's a line. But like, did the places make the line, or did the line inspire the places?
I have a note on that.
Yeah.
Some people think that in these specific places, like on this magnetic placement, they like utilize ancient technology to build things. Like there are people who think that the pyramids were built using like magnetic technology.
Whoa.
And, like their placement on the magnetic fields like was especially meaningful in like mathematics.
But that can't be true in
And I
England because white people didn't even have math until like the thousands, right?
They moved some heavy shit though.
They did move some heavy shit.
Did you see that PBS one about the Stonehenge rocks that they moved from Wales?
No.
With magnets.
Oh no. Yeah, they moved the little stones. The little stones came from Wales, and they're like, why the fuck?
How'd they do that? They dragged him.
They dragged them, and it took them like 10 years, but they did it.
There's this guy who made what's called the Florida Stonehenge. And he was like a Latvian immigrant who moved to Florida. And he made something called the Coral Castle, made of these like huge slabs of
yeah.
rock. And they're like really beautifully carved and like placed around. And he like, when you read about him, he insists that he uses ancient secret technology of magnets and levitation to like place them.
That
And that's
rules.
how he like a guy who was like an emaciated 5-foot man with tuberculosis was like able to create this like really beautiful Masonic spectacle. And I want to read more about it, but there isn't much online. But like his family or someone who runs the estate, because he's now dead, like sells his zines that he
Whoa, that's cool.
Sounds great.
So I think I'm gonna order that.
That's cool.
I love a non-punk zine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Like a
have the
militia
haunted
zine.
train. We I don't know if we've mentioned the haunted train on here before, but
No, we
I
should
have
do a Baker's Junction episode.
I have like a fully stapled manifesto pamphlet from the Baker's Junction Haunted Train Museum.
Yeah.
Well, I love
Talk
that.
about a guy who you can't talk about Brexit around.
Yeah, this is a man who loves trains so much he collected a bunch of empty train cars in the middle of the nowhere. Okay, just outside Bloomington, and he puts on a haunted house in them every Halloween, and that haunted house is dedicated to
his thumb.
his thumb. Well, he's missing his thumb and he's trying to sell it. He mummified
He's not missing it. He has it.
He has it. He's
He
not
knows
missing
where
it.
it
It's cast in resin and he's selling it or whatever. But his whole thing is he's been in like a 20-year long war with the Monroe County, Indiana Planning and Zoning Board.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And
like all the great songs.
There's like, you go to his haunted house and there's like signs everywhere that's like, Communist Tyranny County Commissioner Michael Stratford trying to kill me and ruin train museum. He's a gem.
Yeah.
He's a gem. That's
He's
what I'm trying
a
to
great
say.
guy.
Is he the same person who built a sculpture of like a middle finger facing his neighbors because his neighbors like called the cops?
I don't
That
know.
sounds like something he would do.
He-
like it's
that
spiritually true, even if it's not literally true.
There's a
I
section.
love places like that.
There's a
Yeah.
section in his zine about how much he hates his neighbors, but then they moved and he got better neighbors, and they said they're the best neighbors he ever had, the new neighbors.
Oh,
So
maybe he took down the sculpture.
Yeah, could be.
I love places like that. In rural Colorado, there's a place called Bishop's Castle, and there are a lot of similar like hand painted signs of this guy like going off about like the government and the police. But he built this like beautiful outsider art like castle, with like very precariously welded structures just like hanging in the air.
Oh,
Whoa.
so good. And I bet he didn't have any planning and zoning permission to do that.
No.
No. I think that like weirdos like that should be granted some kind of special exemption. Like
Sovereignty.
Yeah, maybe sovereignty is it. Maybe their own micronation, but like I think like how like if you're like what's the like passport you can get to the United States if you're like a genius or whatever? You can get like citizenship if you're
What?
You know about this? There's like an exceptional there's like it's called like
No.
exceptional something status or whatever.
And you're part of the program, Dylan?
Yeah, that's right. I was a gifted kid.
Oh no, is that why you have problems now?
Yeah, I'm depressed.
Oh no.
No, I'm not depressed. I'm doing great. Crushing it every day.
Mhm.
But yeah, you can, if you're like a genius scientist or whatever, they'll just give you, U.S. residency. I think there should be something like that for like weirdos who built a cool thing,
Totally.
even though it violates planning and zoning.
Yeah.
Because like planning and zoning,
Health and safety.
yeah, like what for like the haunted train museum, they're like, hey, if you want to collect a bunch of rusty train cars on your property and then charge money for like children to go look around them, you need like a permit for that.
While
and he's-
other children jump out and scare those children.
Yeah, he's like, you will probably need some kind of business license and probably need to like make some of this safe because there are some
Boo.
rusty edges, And he's like, well, this is socialist tyranny, and yeah, I think he should, whatever, a site of
You should
cultural
get like
significance.
Yeah, like an outsider art waiver.
Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah, there's so much money for public art, so like, we can't just give it to these guys.
Yeah.
right.
And they're always guys.
They're always
Oh,
guys.
100%.
who are being maligned by their local government.
Yes,
This is how you get a killdozer situation when you persecute these people too hard.
it's true.
The last time I was at the haunted train, it was like 2 Halloweens ago, when I went with the Gulch Boys. You know how like his house is just touching the train, basically, like part of the haunted train. It's impossible to tell where you are because you go at night and you're going through these train cars, but it's not like linear. There is a path, but it's just very hard to track where you are. Some of it
Just
is
like
like
time.
built onto or adjoining his house. And the scariest thing that happened was we were just walking through and I could like see out the window of one of the train cars, or there was like a door in the train car, or maybe I wasn't even in a train car. It might have been like a trailer. And I looked over to the left and there was just like a woman standing in a kitchen, like looking at us doing a bunch of train. She was not part of the exhibit. I think she was
That's amazing.
maybe one of his daughters.
She was like making a sandwich.
It was very startling though, because she was just standing there
That was the most
in a
horrific
normal
part.
kitchen.
One time I was going through it and there was somebody banging on the roof of the train car, which was really scary. Like I could hear footsteps above the car and
Very
like
good.
banging.
Yeah.
And then the hatch like opened and slammed and I went, "Oh, you got me," is what I said, I think. And then the ceiling hatch opened and there was like a 6 or 7 year old boy who just poked his head down, like not
Yeah.
in a costume, just a normal looking little kid. And I went, "Hey, how's it going?" He was like, "Good." And I was like, "Do you work here?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You're doing a great job." And he was like, "Thanks."
Employed 7-year-old.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
was super cute. He broke character.
So your job is to bang on the roof.
Yeah, he runs across the train cars and bangs on the roof, which is genius.
And that's why we need child labor, because no adult could do that.
But county commissioner
true.
Chris whatever is trying to take that away.
All right. Well, listen, we got to return our focus to England, a place where they would
Shit,
never
I'm
allow
sorry.
any of this to happen because they love permits so much.
I'm letting my avoidant tendencies try to just take us away from England.
Oh, because you're a gifted kid?
Yeah. So gifted.
Wait, Sarah, what did you want to say about England? Because what I have to say isn't about England.
Oh, then never mind. Let's return back to America where you don't need a permit to do anything. I was just
Well,
trying to
I
keep
was
us on
reading-
topic.
I was reading this scientific study by Frontiers in Zoology, where they watched 42 dogs piss and shit, and they concluded that dogs piss and shit on the Earth's magnetic axis. They only ever face north or south. They never face east or west when they are relieving themselves. They observed 917 shits and 1,702 pisses. So you know that is empirically proven.
That's a pretty good sample size.
That's a good sample size.
Because when you said they watched 42 dogs piss and shit, I was like, that's not a very big sample. But I didn't understand, of course, initially that there were multiple trials of pissing and
It wasn't
shitting.
only one piss or shit
Right.
per dog.
Yeah. They got a couple pisses and shits out of every dog. That's what you're saying.
Well, it just makes it easier.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were saying that like that dogs like do this obviously like naturally, and that they wouldn't face east or west because they would be uncomfortable doing so.
Huh.
Were these
I
American
know why.
dogs?
I mean,
No, these were German and Croatian dogs.
Well, you know how
Oh.
Germans are about shitting. There's weird stuff. Croats, I don't know.
Yeah, are you surprised that the Germans did a study about shitting?
Not at all. Dylan, you had a follow-up question?
oh no, I think I know why.
Why?
Why?
Well, it's obvious. North is up, right?
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So north and so like if it's the magnetic alignment, they're probably going to be facing north or south, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it always north that they poop?
It's north or south.
Yeah.
Like their spine is like aligned
Mhm.
north and south perfectly.
That's because north is uphill.
Yeah.
So
Always.
North is always up.
north is up in the
Yeah.
world, on the planet. North is up. So theoretically, if a dog is living somewhere or has a spot, it wants to,
Right.
if it poops east-west, it's not going to roll down. It has to poop on the straight line so that it can roll
Mm.
down
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
away from the regular sort of living spot of the dog.
Right.
Does that make
mean-
sense to everybody?
Absolutely. I don't really have an explanation for why this happens, but I do think I found a great way for you guys to figure out the cardinal directions wherever you are.
Look at a dog.
Just look at a
Just
dog.
watch a dog piss.
When you say when you say cardinal, what, like, you don't mean the red bird?
I do not mean the red
What does
bird.
that mean?
That means north, south, east, and west.
oh.
Is it,
Got it.
is it named after the cardinals of the Catholic
bird?
Church?
Oh,
Or-
the
the baseball team.
Is the bird?
well,
Wait,
the
yeah.
Catholic Church guys are named after the baseball team, and the baseball team is named after the birds.
That
so really,
makes the most
it's all
sense.
one and the same.
Okay,
And of course, the birds are named after the directions.
right,
because
because
they fly.
all directions.
All
That makes
directions.
sense.
Bees, whales, and birds also have been observed to do a similar alignment.
Shitting?
And relieving themselves.
Birds, bees, and whales.
Whales.
How do you-
And also,
Know when a whale is pissing.
Hold on, I gotta figure out which way my toilet faces. 1 second.
My toilet faces clear south.
I'm having to open the Compass app. I know that that's triggering for some of y'all direction knowers.
You mean
I'm
me?
pretty sure. Wait, which direction is it? I can't even remember what direction it faces. Like when I'm not in the room.
Well, Izzy, so isn't the Brooklyn
The
Bridge
toilet.
the Brooklyn Bridge is east-west,
Is it
right?
This.
yeah.
So what does your toilet?
I mean, sort of.
Hold on,
like,
1
it's
second.
East-west on the grid, but the grid is not
Mm.
perfectly aligned, which is what's so confusing. Because when you're going like north in Manhattan, you're not going like
Straight up the
you have
block.
to go through you have to be going through a building to go north.
That's
You know what I mean?
weird. Yeah, that the grid is not. I mean, actually, I guess it makes sense. That's city planning can't possibly rely 100% on
You guys,
cardinal directions. What?
What?
my toilet faces due north.
Well, that's good. You're probably like in proper alignment.
I'm in proper
Relieving
alignment.
yourself.
Yeah.
I'm dog approved, dog certified.
Maybe you know how like so many young people seem to have gastrointestinal problems. Maybe it's because their toilets are not.
Do they?
Everyone has like IBS now.
Everyone's like, Zoomers are like, my tummy hurts.
Yeah.
That's because like our food sucks.
You
Yeah,
don't think
that's
it's because
true.
people's toilets are east-west?
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's a more obvious
It's not that there's
explanation.
like that. It's not that dairy is subsidized. That it's in everything, and not everyone can handle it. It's that the toilet faces the wrong direction.
Yeah. So solved it. If you're having problems, if you got IB shitting disease, you just got to find a north-south toilet and you'll be fine. And if you can't find a
That's so true.
north-south toilet, dig a hole. Open that
Dig a
Compass app
hole.
and dig a hole.
Because it will only roll down if you poop north south. It won't roll
Yes.
down if you poop east west. That's how it
Yes.
works.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Izzy, I'm trying to figure out which way your toilet goes. Can you picture your toilet in relation to the Brooklyn Bridge?
I'm not even concerned about where my toilet goes, but I'm so happy to.
I
hear you.
believe.
You're concerned. Well, my toilet is facing the Kosciuszko Bridge.
I don't know. I mean, I know that it's there. I've
Because when I
seen it.
if I wait, no, it doesn't. It faces away from the Kosciuszko Bridge.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what an ancient astronaut is? Have you heard of this concept?
Is that like ancient aliens?
Yeah.
Okay, explain.
This is another thing that the Earth Mysteries lay hunter people, not all of them believe it, but it's like a common belief. They think the ley lines were placed by the ancient astronauts. And there's like something about the energy forces that like allowed them to, leave the planet and come back. And they think that the aliens left because humans became too materialistic.
Dude.
That's so good.
So wait, ancient astronauts
Isn't
are
that amazing.
ancient astronauts are aliens?
Yeah, they're like aliens that like came to Earth to like assist humanity in something, but then
Like building the
humans-
pyramids.
Right, like building the pyramids and whatnot. And then humans, because of the Bronze Age, started like getting really into like how many cars they own.
I love that. That is such like a dumbass like 70s
Yes.
I know.
concept. You're like, yeah,
it's
man.
like the 70s lens looked at like archaeology
Completely.
mysteries.
It's like, yeah, everybody got fake, so the guiding astronaut aliens left the planet.
How do
Everybody,
we tell
like-
these people about what the Egyptians put in the pyramids?
What did they put in
Stuff,
there?
a
besides,
bunch
like,
of
dead bodies?
shit. They were like, okay, well, everything you need in the afterlife, you got to
afterlife.
take with you. So those fucking things were filled with like all the food you'd ever need, all the furniture. Like they were full of shit.
They're preppers for heaven.
They were preppers for heaven.
Yeah, they are.
I'm just
Preppers
saying
for
that is literally, and I mean this non-judgmentally, but it is quite literally materialistic. They were concerned with material.
Whoa, Egyptians called out.
Don't forget about all the juice.
Yeah, what about the juice? You think that was maybe like their fuel?
Yeah, maybe that's their... Well, oh, yeah. Well, we don't know what the juice was for. If anyone wants to know what I'm talking about, check out Mysterious Liquid. It's our episode about all the mysterious liquids in the world.
Yeah, all of them. It's
all of them in the
exhaustive.
world. There's a part about mummy juice in there that I was referencing, where it's this mysterious liquid. It was probably their fuel for heaven. Probably like like one time I tried to
cosmic astronauts.
One time I watched a guy like absolutely throw a fit and get into an argument with TSA at an airport because he wanted to bring his Mountain Dew Gamer fuel on a plane, and he had like 4 bottles of it, and each bottle was a different color, and he was like, "These are limited edition. I flew to Chicago to get these," or whatever. And they weren't having it. But maybe it's like that. Like that's their Mountain Dew Gamer fuel on their flight to heaven.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
On their flight to... I'm with you. Flight to heaven. Yeah.
Izzy, do you say your toilet faces the Kosciuszko Bridge?
Away Kosciuszko Bridge.
Because the Kosciuszko Bridge is like absolutely on a diagonal. It's absolutely northeast. And you're right that Manhattan is completely diagonal. What the fuck?
I don't really have object permanence. Like, I'm like one of those people, like once I'm in a new room, it's just a whole different world to me.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. It's why I can't clean up after myself.
Yeah, exactly. If the problem...
That's why I'm staring at like a huge pile of Gatorade cans.
There are 6 cans of different sparkling waters on my desk.
Oh my God.
I've also got 5 cans on my desk.
Nice.
And I'm like, where does it go?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish that the people who I love,
where does it even go,
would allow me as a public service to them, and also as something that brings me joy, to just clean up for them.
I want you to. I would love for you to come.
Like, it would make me so happy to organize your desk. Like,
you won't never see my shame.
I know.
You won't never see my shame.
If I am your friend in real life and you have a desk or something that needs organized, call me. I would love to do that for you.
You will critique as you clean, which, like, spiritually,
just leave.
I don't think Dylan or I could
just
handle.
And, like, just go. Just like I don't even need you to be there while I do it.
Like, I know that there's like everything, like a lot's wrong with me. Like I know that, but I don't want you to see it. Like I don't want you to.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I want you to like hold up this idea of me in your mind as perfect.
Yeah, of like your perfect angel, Dylan.
Yeah. But here's the thing: all of my friends, is this true? Pretty much all of my friends are like messy people. So there must be something in me that loves this about you. And I'm not saying I want to change you. I'm just saying I want to temporarily make your desk look nicer.
If anyone's wondering, that's 4 Waterloo blackberry lemonade cans, a San Pellegrino bottle, and a Pastique LaCroix.
I've got lemon lime Gatorade, another lemon lime Gatorade, a CC lemon.
Oh yeah,
and 2 empty coffee cups.
Oh my God.
Oh, there's also
But like, Sarah, where do I put them?
In the recycling?
It's full.
Like, where is that?
It is full.
Just put them in the
also,
trash.
Recycling's not real, and I can't handle that existentially.
So you just keep them.
So I keep it on my desk.
I also have 3 empty coffee cups and an empty Subway Sprite.
Like, so I'm just supposed to commit a lie and put it in recycling? Like, I'm a truth teller.
How about you make jaunty metal lanterns for
There's
tea light?
Also an empty bottle of Advil on my desk, like as if maybe the Advil will come back if I just leave it there for a few weeks. And then a rolled up poster that says Frogs of the World and has a bunch of frogs on it.
Oh, you should hang it up.
I will,
You have to get into the habit of like taking stuff with you when you get up. Like every time I get up, I just
don't get up.
Same. I get up like twice a day.
Like when would I be getting up exactly?
To piss and shit on the magnetic field.
I'm not gonna say this on the podcast.
What, do you pee in your sink? That's what I do.
No, I don't pee in my sink. I used to pee in my sink.
He shits in his sink. It's totally different.
Yeah, it's fine if you just shit in your sink.
I did pee in my sink for a little bit. At one point, I lived in a room that had a sink, and I had 5 or 6 roommates. So
I remember. I was one of those roommates.
Yeah, I peed in that sink a couple times. Not that often.
As a woman, I feel like it's actually like heroic for me to pee in a sink because it's not easy.
That's true. You have to get up
You have to really use your biceps.
Like, it's easier for me to like go to the shared bathroom, but like, what if I see someone? I can't deal with that. And that and the recycling is a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
And they know about your mouse problem, so you really can't see them.
Oh my god.
Oh.
that was literally so fucking insane. I couldn't believe it.
Izzy got in trouble at her shared studio.
No, they don't know it was me.
Izzy knows. She got in trouble with herself. She knows the truth. No, you're not the only one.
I did confession on the Discord, so I relieved myself of my sins.
Yeah, that's definitely how it works. You want to talk about these hill figures in England? No.
Who talking?
What?
I'm talking to the members of my podcast.
What the hell are you talking
about? The hill figures.
Okay.
I saw you posted a guy with like a big dick.
A guy with a big dick. So here's the deal. The old straight track, Mr. Alfred Watkins, who did not invent ley lines at all, but he did name them and stuff. He
popularized them, perhaps.
Perhaps. So, there's this idea that the ley lines are connected by all of these ancient monuments that are around in England. And you cannot swing a dead cat in that place without finding some shit that's real old that some pagan a long time ago built. Like they have, obviously there's like Stonehenge, there's a million other henges too. There's also these things called stone barrows or earthen barrows. Earthen barrows are kind of like, like Indian burial mounds.
Where it's just like where the Barrow witches are.
The whom's?
The Barrow Witch.
Is this some Magic the Gathering type shit?
Yes, it is, okay, actually. I couldn't remember why that phrase popped in my head. It is actually Magic the Gathering. I apologize.
Yeah, I fucking knew it. Now, many people have pointed out that in a place with so many ancient monuments, earthworks, etc., obviously it's possible to draw straight lines between them because there are so many of them. Someone also did like an experiment where they used like Tesco's or something and they drew straight lines. I can't remember what it was that they used. The point is, it's not that hard to draw straight lines between things when you've got a million of them around. But one of the things that's sort of part of this network, according to Watkins, that make up the path of the ley lines is in England they have all of these weird like chalk hill figures. Have you ever seen any pictures of these?
Yeah, all guys.
There's dudes and horses.
Like the ones in the huge ones. I know about the ones in Peru that are, or is it Peru where they are in South America? The Nazca lines. They're so
maybe.
Cool.
Yeah,
they're so cool. I didn't think they qualified as a ley line thing because they're just like full on cool drawings.
Yeah,
at a gigantic scale.
There's something called the Long Man of Wilmington.
Yes,
that I was looking at.
So the Long Man of Wilmington is the one that Alfred Watkins proposed to be showing like a ley line drawer, a ley line maker.
How interesting. It's like a guy holding 2 big poles.
Yeah, the Long Man of Wilmington is like, so you have to imagine like a long green grassy sloping hill like they've got in England, like in the countryside or whatever, and then in chalk, because I think there's chalk underneath, that's like what's naturally underneath those hills, are these carved figures. So there's a couple really famous ones that look like horses. There's the Long Man of Wilmington who's holding these 2 sticks that Alfred Watkins said were like ley line finding rods or making rods. People were like, why do you think that? And he was like, I don't know. That was it. Well, he says part of his explanation was, So the word ley, the reason why LEY, ley lines, is because there's a lot of places in the parts of England where he was purporting to find these lines that have the word ley in them.
Right.
It's from an old English word for cleared space. He also noticed that the names Cole and Dodd are part of a lot of English place names. And he said, well, that's because the people who were determining the ley lines, like the pathfinders, basically were called Colemans or Dodmans. And people were like, why do you think that? And he said, I don't know. But he says that the long man of Wilmington was a Dodman, and that's why he's got those sticks.
Okay.
Now
I was looking through Wikipedia on the ley lines page. There's a photo of like a guy who had written about it, and it looked like he was just smoking a joint.
Oh, the guy's like he's in the sun and he's lying down.
It was like definitely a hand rolled cigarette of some type.
Yes.
And I was like, this guy, of course, he's just like, what if there's lines connecting?
Yeah. Was that John Michell? Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
English esotericist. He's the guy who took up
esotericist.
Oh yeah. He took up Alfred Watkins' ideas and was like, but what if there was aliens? Because there's kind of two schools of ley line thought, and one of them is like kind of boring archaeology stuff. Like they were like paths. And then there's the people who were like, and aliens did it.
And aliens.
And those people are like not in any way interested in the like trying to mount a scientific argument. There are people who are like, this is like a spiritual I have like faith in ley lines. I don't need to be able to see them. I don't need proof that they're there. I know.
Right.
And that's why I like to go to Stonehenge on the equinox and like take my pants off, and
you do that every equinox. She does. Me too. My mom's going to Scotland in the summer or in the fall
to take her pants off.
Probably. And I want to go to Scotland, so if everybody could just pressure my mom to take me to go to Scotland.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with her to Scotland?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where in Scotland is she going?
Can I write a letter to her?
Yeah, I want to get a letter writing. She's going with her friends, and apparently I wouldn't fit in.
Gail?
No, not Gail. She's going with Esther and maybe a couple other people. I'm not sure.
Maybe if I write a letter saying that you should go with her, saying you shouldn't go, then she'll take you. I'll do reverse psychology on her because she doesn't like me.
Mom, if you're listening to this, I won't bring the cowboy hat, and I won't complain at all that the water's too cold, like in Wisconsin that one time. Okay?
He's going to be on his bestest behavior.
I was stressed out at the time in the Wisconsin.
He's grown up.
And it was cold. And yes, that was like 2021. But anyway.
He wants to see the Hogwarts castle. He wants to hear the people talking like how they do.
Dude, one time I made the Harry Potter theme song. This is before the J.K. Rowling. I would never now. This was many years ago. But one time I made the like do 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 do.
She didn't write that.
Yeah, I know. But one time I made that my alarm clock ringtone.
Right.
And it was like it was such a bad call.
Because it's a fucking sleepy time lullaby.
I woke up and I had to go to work, and I felt horrible, and I didn't want to go to work. And then it played. I was like, I pranked myself. Like free pass Dylan did a cruel joke on future stressed out Dylan. Like, it just felt so awful. So yeah, take me to Scotland so I can investigate the ley lines. I did so much research for this.
They did a lot. They got a lot of big rocks in Scotland. Like,
I'm a sucker for those rocks too.
Yeah, the henges and shit.
Yeah, you like rock.
I am working so hard to pronounce that word correctly. You don't even know.
Henge.
Not
like a Serbian
like
henge.
A Serbian henge.
Not how I want to say it, which is hinge.
Hinge.
We haven't talked about the guy's dick. So one of the famous chalk figures, not the Dodd man that Alfred Watkins loved so much. There's another one in Dorset. These are all in like the southern part of England. Dorset is where they talk like Wallace and Gromit. Everyone has hard R's.
Cute.
Oh.
Yeah. There's the Cern Abbas giant, and he is a hill figure with a huge wangle. You have got to see this thing. Go ahead and take a look. I posted him in Maud's coworkers, I think.
Oh, I already looked beforehand.
She looked and she liked it.
I didn't want to impose. Wow. Yeah.
Apparently,
they're sure, the archaeologists are sure that this is what this looks like.
So, apparently, if you like view him to scale, his dick is only 6 inches long. If you were to scale down the giant.
Who did that math? Who was like, okay, if this were a real guy, he'd be 5'8".
Someone who was feeling really threatened.
Who was like, okay, yeah, but like, how big is? I know the dick is 200.
It's not
feet
that
long,
big.
But,
it's not that big.
But like, what if he was regular size though?
So the question of like who made this and why and when is actually very much up for debate, because a lot of people, obviously the belief is like that this stuff is as old as the ley lines and it's as old as the stone barrows and it's as old as Stonehenge, but they don't actually know, and they think that some of these are like maybe from like the 1500s. It's not that old.
Not that old, but still.
Yeah,
old.
People are like, it was an ancient fertility symbol. A lot of people, possibly up until now, there was like a British duke or something. One of those people, the weird people they have over there that have like a special name but not a real job.
Because they like own land. Their family owns.
They're like landed gentry. He's some lordling or duke or whatever. In the 80s, told a newspaper that he and his wife, who were having trouble conceiving, had sex on the penis, and then she got pregnant. So this was like for a long time, maybe only as far back as the 1500s, maybe further back, the story has been if you have sex on the penis. And I don't mean that makes it sound like
I know.
It makes it sound like I don't know how sex works. No, you're telling me the woman has sex on the penis. If you have sex on the piece on the expanse of grass that makes up the stone figure's figural penis, it can help with fertility, they say.
I think
maybe there's a ley line under there.
Maybe
a fertile ley line.
Yeah.
I think a group of teenage friends in the in the early 1980s did this every night, and they spent all of junior year working on it. And they swore an oath to keep it a secret and take it to their graves, and that they've all kept the oath to this day.
You said the 1980s?
Yes. I think this is some teenage...
It's not 1500s, it's 1980s.
Yeah. This is definitely teenage shenanigans.
The first mentions of it are in the 1600s. And some people say, like, well, it's definitely... Because in the 1600s, the way that it was mentioned was like that it had to be repaired. So people are like, well, it's older than that. But that could be, it could have been 30 years old and it needed to be repaired. So, like, who knows?
If this is...
His dick broke.
His dick broke. Too many people were... The cum dripped down. Okay. Sorry.
Are those his... Okay, so the naked stick figure with the big penis...
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's only 6 inches if he was a regular guy, sure.
Please.
But
it's
we
not
can say
that big, okay?
It's carved into a hillside. It's pretty big. But
yeah, this thing is as tall, not the penis, the whole thing is as tall as a 20-foot tall apartment building. 20-story tall apartment building.
He's holding a wavy looking baseball bat.
Yes.
Is this the first evidence of baseball?
Well, one story, this has not ever been confirmed, but I think it's also not been definitively ruled out, is that he maybe used to be holding a beheaded human head in the other hand. So if
he's like
it is the first instance of baseball used to be a lot different.
Or was it?
The current working theory is that it's possibly somewhere between 700 CE. That's 700. This is what we used to call BC, right? No, AD.
Yes.
Is now we call it CE.
CE is AD.
700.
Common era, right?
Yeah.
Common era. before
BCE
Common Era.
and CE. Yeah.
Right. So somewhere between 700 and 1,110. What's the correct way to say that as a year? 11.
I don't know.
1110?
Like how I say
Yeah, I don't know.
1110. Yeah. So maybe that old. They've tried to like date it.
So
you
like
know.
medieval almost.
Yes. So I think it was like maybe some medieval teens. There was ribaldry afoot, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
this is the south of England.
Yeah.
This seems like some. No offense to anybody, but this seems like some Scotland shit.
This is not some Scotland. It's a whole other part of the country.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Is like the vibes this is giving to me. This is some Pictish sort of vibes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this strikes me as Celtic.
Yeah, but like down there in the south of England, they talk like pirates. They're like, it's a lot of rolling hills, and that's where pirates come from and stuff. I mean,
oh my God! And Cornwall,
some rough and tumble shit. Yeah.
What are they doing in Cornwall? What the hell is that?
They all have beards.
Dirty South.
The dirty South. That's right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hill figures in England. But it seems like some of them are maybe not as old as you might think. Does that mean that they're not on ley lines? No, because who's to say that in the ribald teens in the year 800 weren't magnetically drawn to the ley line?
Yeah, I feel like if anyone's like drawn to like a magnetism of the earth, it's like a teenager, right?
Absolutely, because they're
acting out.
Yeah, and they're like close to the hallway. It makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it tracks. Their hands were being drawn by a force greater than
Ancient
themselves.
Astronauts.
There are so many of these fucking horses. There's 5 that are humanoid, and not all of them are in England, I don't think. Yeah, one of these is Chilean. One is Australian, but it was made in like the 80s or 90s. There's 3 in England.
If you want to see all of these pictures, you should check our Instagram or our Patreon.
Yes.
Or our Discord.
There's a lot of horses.
I interrupted you.
No. Yeah, it's become like a thing now in England to do this. Like during World War I or II, they put like military insignia, like badges, on the mountains. So plenty of these are not that old, but some of them are. Maybe
you're saying it's a fad.
It's a fad. Yeah, glyphs are a fad.
Glyphs were a fad for sure.
Yeah.
I think glyphs are coming back.
Glyphs are gonna come back big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see people.
You know how like glyphs were big in the 70s and the 70s are coming back? That means that glyphs are coming back.
Yeah.
I thought the 70s were coming back. Wait, shouldn't we be in? Okay, because
No. I will tell you exactly what it is. The 90s were back, and in the 90s, the 70s were back. So now the 70s and the 90s are back. But now it's about to be the 2000s. I think the 2000s are back.
That's what I was going to say, right?
I think the 2000s are already here.
It's either the 80s are back or the 70s are back, or by extension, the 90s, 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. The 2000s ushers in technology, and some people are afraid of technology now, thus being into glyphs.
Right.
It's true. Yeah.
Can I talk to you guys about Michael?
Oh, please tell us about Michael.
This is a ley line. So I tried so hard to find a U.S. ley line. I didn't try that hard. I tried kind of hard. I was at work at the time, but I have a lot of downtime at my job. Anyway,
there must be one in Florida because the guy who made the Coral Castle used ley line technology.
Oh, I bet there is. Wait, did he mean? Because, like, if I learned anything from that PBS documentary, it might have been Nova. I think it was Nova.
Yeah.
There is an ancient technology, and this is kind of how they framed it, and I loved it, that they were like, there was an ancient secret technology that they used to move these giant, impossibly huge stone blocks. It's called a sledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's some logs tied together, and then they did a demonstration of they got a class of 13-year-olds to move a giant stone pillar with it, with a sledge that they had made, like a replica, like ancient sledge. And it was they were like, hey, look, these 13-year-olds can do it. So
yeah, I've never really understood what's supposed to be so mysterious about people moving stones before wheels happened. Like, there were other ways.
Right, yeah. But where I was going with this was that I was just trying to find specific ley lines that we can identify. And one of the identifiable ley lines is called the Michael line, or St. Michael's line, or just Michael's line.
Tell us about Michael.
This is a, they also call it the Apollo line, whatever. It's basically a line across Europe ending in the Middle East where you can draw a straight line between 7 old monasteries and, archaeological sites, not or like old monasteries, old churches from like the medieval period or older, named Michael. So it starts in Ireland. Let me pull up my Michael line.
Can you look that up on Google Earth?
God. Yes, you can. Well, I'll get into this.
Okay.
So the 7 sites are Skellig Michael, which is Great Skellig in Ireland. And then going on the straight line to St. Michael's Mount, which is in England. It's looks like it's in Cornwall. It's on that little tip, like a little Cornish tip.
Cornish
and then you've got Mont Saint Michel Abbey, the north of France. And then it goes to Sacra we're in Italian. Sacra de Saint Michele in Italy.
Beautiful.
All these are, if you aren't aware, so Michael, I didn't know this. They say Michael different wherever you are. So we say Michael, the French say Michel, the Italians say Michele. Anyway, there's so many different ways to say Michael. Mind blown.
In Cyprus?
In Cyprus, they say whatever it would be in Greek or Turkish, depending on what part of Cyprus you're in. Because Cyprus is like a
George
weird...
Michael, he was Greek.
Oh, wait, do they have their own special language? They have like a Cypriot language.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Cyprus, but
They
anyway.
have cool old stone art, Cypriot art. So they probably got a language.
Did you know that we don't know why Cyprus is named that?
Really?
Or we do. So, okay, what's cool about Cyprus is that the name is the inspiration for the name. Like copper is named after Cyprus.
Oh.
Huh.
Like copper is like whatever. It's like derived from Cyprus because like most of the copper or a huge amount of the copper in like the ancient world came from Cyprus. But we don't know what Cyprus is named after. But copper is named after the place, which is kind of weird. Anyway,
is the tree from the place also?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
What about the hill?
Yeah. What about the hill?
Cypress Hill is from Cyprus.
Were they Greek? I mean, Cypriot?
So anyway, they go to the line goes through Santuario de Michele Arcangelo, and then it goes to Archangel Michael Panormitis Archangel Michael Panormitis Monastery in Greece, and then it goes to Stella Maris Monastery in Israel. That's where the line ends.
Wow.
And the certain religious folks believe that this is the line where Saint Michael wounded Satan. Like in this is like it's like represents. It's sometimes called the sword of Saint Michael, and it represents Saint Michael striking Satan with a sword and sending him to hell.
So, in this theory, like, because south is down. So maybe they were fighting in England, and then he sent him down to Israel.
Or like maybe like the line is like a cut in the earth that spans that far. That's like left over from the blood. I don't know much about anything about any. Is that canon?
No. Well, I mean, in Revelation, Michael is the archangel, right? He's often depicted as like a soldier. He does fight the devil. That's true, but it's not like. And then in England, this happened. Like these things are happening on a kind of cosmic scale that's very difficult to place in normal space or time.
Okay. Well, to be fair, I mean, this is a big ass line that stretches all across Europe. And, from Ireland to Israel. Some problems with this. Well, first of all, the variance is between these sites is between 14 kilometers actually and 42 kilometers actually. So it's not like you could it's not like if you got like a laser pointer or whatever you would hit. There's a 42 kilometer variance.
And also Michael's like a very common name.
That is the other thing. That might be the most common name of one of the most common names of the last 1,000 years.
And certainly in like the religious world, the Catholic world, having a church called St. Michael is not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. It surprises me that you can only draw a line through 7 of them. And that's where I thought this was really funny. Not to like debunk it, because I think it's funny that it's called Michael's line.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work anymore if you do it on a globe. So,
Right.
So the problem is that, like, which I think is a problem with a lot of the ley lines.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
But isn't it because globes
it's
are
not
fake?
A straight line because.
Wait, is there an overlap between ley line people and flat Earth people? Because that would make sense.
Oh, yeah, there's got to be. I mean, like, we know that it's true that, like, the way that a globe is represented is not proportionally accurate to landforms, or at least historically was not, because they used to always make Africa way smaller than it actually is.
Right. It's like the map projection could fuck up the line, right? Completely.
Totally.
So,
but if the Earth is flat, no problem.
So there's like a Wikipedia page for St. Michael's line. And then like one of the only other like things I could find published about it was a newspaper article from September of 2020 called Another Mystery of St. Michael's Line, where this reporter from a small town in Vermont was just like, the article starts and they're just like, oh, I was really bored during quarantine, so this is what I was doing. And they said they plotted them all on Google Earth and they no longer made a straight line because of like the curvature of the Earth and stuff. And the map projection not being the same. And that it took a pretty sharp turn in the middle. So it was really like a St. Michael's, soft L shape. Yeah.
You're going to let Mr. Sergey Brin and Mr. whoever the other Google guy is tell you about these lines?
Is Google Maps accurate? Is Google Maps?
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Like, is it really?
Yeah, so that you keep paying them.
I love Google Earth.
Me too.
It's so fun. Like, do you think Google Earth is accurate?
I'm googling this.
Synthesize.
I mean, I don't know.
Interests.
I don't know that.
If you're ever bored, go onto Google Earth and just zoom in.
Pick somewhere. Go to England. Find a great place name. Pick any city in the world and do a street view there. You have a good time. Go on Google Earth and look up shipwrecks.
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Or aircraft graveyard.
Yo.
Ooh, do it.
Go to North Sentinel Island and see if you can find any people.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. There's also a really cool shipwreck on North Sentinel Island where they wrecked a ship there and they all had to get rescued by like the Indian Navy. Oh yeah. Okay. So the person who wrote this article in the Valley Reporter, Waitsfield, Vermont's local paper,
Nice.
Links to their blog at the end of the article, because I guess this was too much they let them write the St. Michael line article, and they're like, hey, I know that when I put it on Google Maps, it didn't make a line anymore, but you know where that line does pass through? Like the line is accurate for the first 4, but then misses the next 3. But if you keep going with the St. Michael line, supposedly, according to this person, it passes through the Great Pyramid.
Oh, shit.
Which is not named after Michael as far as we know.
As far as we know.
But they're
famously,
if
nobody
you're
can
drawing
speak
lines
Egyptian.
in that area of the world, like you could draw a line through the pyramid to anywhere, right?
But it lines up perfectly on Google Maps, supposedly with these 4 random churches.
Sorry, sir, I interrupted you.
No, I was just talking shit. Yeah, I think it's not that you can. I mean, we pointed out, what episode was it where we were talking about something where people were like, but you can draw a line between all these things. And it was like, yeah, anyone can always draw a line between 2 things. It's the fact that the pyramids line up with 3 of the Michaels, 4 of the Michaels.
Right.
Okay, yeah, the pyramids lined up with 4 of the Michaels, which I am like, that's cope. Because the way they wrote it, the way they wrote it was like, wow, isn't this amazing? They all fit on the line, but they don't. But you know what they do fit on? Like, but hey, before you are like, oh, that's fake, guess what they do line up with? Like the pyramids. It's like, okay, that's so 4 things named Michael and a pyramid line up. If you draw a straight, like a lot of things are going to line
pattern. That's not anything.
If you draw, and the line they're drawing
just a
is
handful of things.
Yeah.
it's 50 kilometers wide. Like a lot of things are going to line up.
Yeah.
And then they go deeper, and then they link to their own separate blog. And I'm like, mad respect to whoever wrote this. Honestly, this is great. And this is exactly like the kind of stuff I do when I'm supposed to be like doing my job.
Right.
But I just, just Google drawing lines on Google Earth and stuff.
Oh,
but
sure.
But they were like, oh, but guess what? There's also Michael's circle.
What is Michael's circle?
If you draw a fucking circle in the middle of Europe, there's a bunch of places named Michael that occur on it.
Equidistantly?
No, they're just on the edge of the circle.
Well, right, but wouldn't that make them equidistant from the center of the circle?
Listen, on the globe, St. Michael's Line has 5 monasteries and the Great Pyramid, which I think they're counting one too many monasteries there. St. Michael's Circle, if you use one of those monasteries as the center of a circle with a radius to the Great Pyramid, what?
Whoa.
Okay, no, here's what it is.
Sorry, what?
If you use the monastery Santuario di San Michele as the center in Italy, as the center of a circle with a radius to the Great Pyramid, 1,171 miles, St. Michael's Mount in Great Britain falls on the circumference of that circle with a 0.28% margin of error.
So what?
And then
doesn't mean anything.
And then there's another place that's only 21 miles off the circle.
So
That is crazy.
So if you pick a random place, there's 2 other places that are equidistant from it, and then another place that isn't, but it almost is.
It can't be a coincidence.
It is one.
It can't be.
It can't be.
No.
It would be
can't
one
a
thing if it was
coincidence.
like 4 of these Michaels line
There's
up,
science
and then
involved.
all of the Great Pyramids line up. Because the pyramids are in a line, right? Some of them. The great ones are in a line, right?
Dude, there's so many like pyramids
Yeah,
out there
I know.
that we don't even freaking know about.
Where do they come from? Where do they go?
No
Wait,
one
I'm
knows.
going to show you
They're still there.
what a crazy coincidence this is.
Oh, God.
I actually I was losing it when I saw this. I was like, this is not a coincidence. It's like, yes, if you draw a circle on the planet, there's going to be stuff.
Well, also, if you draw a circle in Europe, there will be things called Michael.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like,
Just like if you draw a line in England, it's going to hit a whole bunch of old fucking monuments and shit.
right.
You can't
Yeah,
like
here's
walk
the,
for 2 blocks in a village in England without some old shit. Like that's just, it doesn't mean anything. It's everywhere.
And it's not a coincidence.
It's because they have a lot of like policies and rules in place about not covering things in parking lots. So they just keep all their old shit.
respect.
Respect. It's true. Okay, Dylan posted
Respect.
Oh, there's so much more. They found a Michael triangle in Spain that only has one place named Michael in it, but it like intersects with one. They're like, they've like taken the line and they made the line, they made part of the line the center of a circle, and then they're like extrapolating other places named Michael that are near the line or the circle and being like, well, that forms a triangle.
That is so crazy.
I love this.
It would be one thing if it was like Barnabas, you know, like a rare thing.
the Barnabas.
The Barnabas triangle,
Look, behold,
the Absalom triangle.
behold this sacred geometry.
I
of
mean,
this-
it would be
I
kind of
just
cool.
posted.
Oh my god,
That is sacred geometry.
it is a bunch
Those
of
are
triangles,
That's a bunch of fucking places named Michael with lines.
and it
on
looks
the-
like 2 wings, like the Archangel Michael has
Like
wings.
The Archangel.
That's right.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
This
they
is not a coincidence. This is not random.
they drew lines that connect places named Michael and the Great Pyramid of Giza.
And let's not discuss how if you pick any 3 places, you can make a triangle between them.
Oh, also, by the way, the Great Pyramid of Giza isn't even that tall.
It's not.
No, the Monk's Mound in St. Louis is taller.
I've been to that mound. It's not that
Sick.
tall.
I mean, fuck St. Louis, but yeah.
Any final thoughts?
If you have ever felt sacred geometry move inside of you, please call in. Tell us.
And we're not talking about IBS.
No.
If this is a long shot, but like if you are in the UK and you know anything about or like can, hit up the UK network of ley hunters.
Yes.
Check out their website, their networkofleyhunters.uk. Their site hasn't been updated in 2 years. A lot of the updates are people have passed away, which is sad, but they look like a fun group.
Awful.
Yeah.
And they do have a zine, so hit them up.
If you're in England and you understand how funny your place names are, call in, because I feel like people in England are like face blind to how dumb their place names. Like they just don't know, But if you know, call in. Tell us about other places with names like Chorlton cum Hardy. If you're in England, please call in and tell us if you think the name Chorlton cum Hardy is funny.
Please call my mom and you say, "Hey, Deb, Dylan wants to go to Scotland too, and you should take him."
Yeah, take him.
You could call our hotline 706-45-BIMBO and leave a message for Deb that we can play for her.
Yeah.
Or we could play them all on the podcast and do a Deb-centered episode.
Yeah.
We can have her on the podcast.
No, she won't talk to me.
She'll talk to you.
I'll
She'll talk.
leave.
We can squash the beef. We can do it.
She can sub for me.
We can have a squash the beef episode.
She thinks I was a bad influence on Dylan when we were teens.
But why doesn't she feel that about me? And also, is that in your head?
No, she really does think that. Dylan knows.
When I was home
we can cut this out if you want.
No,
I'm curious.
When I was home for Christmas, my mom went. At this point, my mom thinks it's funny. Like, it's not serious anymore and hasn't been for a very long time. But she thinks it's funny and wants to keep the beef going because that's who she is. You two are like, you two would like each other, I think.
About Sarah, the beef.
Yeah. Like, I went to go see you guys over Christmas, and my mom was like, "I don't like you hanging out with that Sarah. She's a bad influence." I'm like, she's a teacher and a mother, and we are middle-aged.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't like you hanging out with that. I don't think she's good. Or she's good for you."
It's because when we were teens, my house was the house that all the teens could hang out at, and sometimes my mom wasn't home.
Yeah, you had a cool house.
I had the cool house close to downtown.
It's true.
I love that house.
That was such a great house.
706-45-BIMBO. Here are things you could call about. You could call encouraging Deb to let Dylan go to Scotland. You could call us about ley lines. You could call us about the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what our topic is next week?
Ooh, we don't. I was thinking it's maybe time for us to do a mailbag, but we might need more time to to sort out, to get some calls.
Yeah.
We do have some calls that we have not addressed that go kind of far back.
Yeah, okay. Let's do a mailbag.
Let's do a
Please
mailbag.
Call in and for our mailbag.
If you're still out there.
We'll give you advice.
Yeah, advice, ghost stories. If you have a spooky thing that happened to you,
just general. This is going to be the mailbag where the theme is just we miss you guys. How are you?
Miss you.
This is the we miss you mailbag.
We miss you
Call and
mailbag.
Let us know what's going on.
Yeah. Give us an update. Yeah, tell us.
How you been?
How you been?
What
How
up?
you been?
Aliens, if you've seen any UFOs or anything.
Yeah.
And don't call us to talk about the Elon Musk satellite. I hate when someone's like, I saw some cool lights in the sky, and it turns out it was a stupid fucking Elon Musk satellite. I don't want to hear about that shit ever again.
I don't know about that, but
I don't either.
It's like a satellite. It has like cool lights, and people see it and they think it's a UFO, but it's just some dumb fucking shit. Very disappointing.
Boring.
Yeah, we don't like it. Okay.
All right.
We love you.
We love you. And Sarah, even
though the gods are crazy. Thanks.
And even though the stars are blind.
Yeah, even though, oh, jeez. God, I'm so nervous. It's like every time, it's like the first time I get so fucking nervous.
Do you want us to start again?
Every single time. Yeah, can we start again?
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, wait.
Well, mine
yet,
was bad too. So let's start again. Even though the gods are crazy.
And even though the stars are blind.
Interested in lays? For a free sample copy of the newsletter of the Network of Lay Hunters, please send an A5 self-stamped addressed envelope to the address under Contact Us with your name and postal address, and telephone calls are greatly welcome. Don't be shy. Phone Lawrence today.
Phone him.
Call Lawrence, but not before you call us 70645 Bimbo.
Maybe if you call our number, you'll get Lawrence. We don't know. We can't guarantee.
Join our Patreon.
Yeah.
Join our Patreon.
Our Discord.
Yeah, our Discord's for everyone. Our Patreon
Discord's
is for
free.
attractive people.
Yeah.
Discord's free.
Patreon's for hotties
anonymous.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. We're gonna be doing all kinds of cool stuff in the future. You just wait and see.
We have huge plans.
Massive plans.
The plans, they are so big.
Oh,
They're way more than average sized, okay?
What time's the planning meeting?
We measured, and they're actually really big.
We measured, and you can draw a straight line through all of our plans.
Oh, shit. Did you know there's a big straight line? There's a ley line in the U.S.? I just said there wasn't, but it's not a ley line. Did you know that we mow a giant strip between the U.S. and Canada on the border? That's kind of a ley line.
Is the border straight? Yeah.
A lot of the parts of the border is well, it looks straight on a map, but it's like not. It's kind of wobbly up close.
Yeah.
Wait,
but
why do we do that?
So that we all know which is which. Because
why not
nobody
build a wall?
knows.
Oh, that is so
They're not,
stupid.
but they actually like clear what it's like a 15-foot. Like they clear all vegetation. You know, it's just grass. There's a 15-foot strip of just grass between the U.S. and Canada.
Build a wall. That's the only way to know.
That's a ley line.
That's the North American ley line.
That's right.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.